Welcome and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Breakthrough the Taboo Talk. I am super excited to have you here this evening. I have two amazing speakers, and we're just going to get together and start to have cool conversations around money, because money tends to be that taboo topic. And the best way to break through taboos is to have discussions, conquer our conversations, and be empowered with confidence around them, so that this way they are easy, they flow, and we can have fun about it. Usually when we have when people come to educating and teaching people about money, it's usually because they have a heartfelt story or an experience that was this thread that transitioned them into transformation. And when that happened to them, they started changing it for everybody else. They answered that call. They were that voice, figuring out what that greatest challenge was and to overcome it. And that's what I know about my next two speakers. I'm going to bring them into the room so that we can start. We have such a short period of time, and I know they have so much to give and so much value. That's why we're getting together. Don't let me forget, before the end of the show, I am going to share that we're going to be having a summit around money mastery, so that this way you can lean in, leverage the knowledge of our experts, learn and apply simple tips, receive amazing gifts, and grow in your confidence, your relationship, wherever it is that challenge is, to level you up and be empowered around money and really be that role model. I mean, without you even realizing, you get to be a leader. And when you lead in the area of money conversations, I call it raising your financial intelligence. Every time we level that up just a little bit, you actually bring people with you without even realizing, without any effort. If you can imagine just being in a room, money is energy. When you're in a room and you walk into a room when there is a bunch of sad people, generally you already feel that sadness. What we want to create is elevating you so that you can get excited, you can enjoy, and you can celebrate that positive energy like you just walked into a party. But it takes that mindset shift to meet skills so that you can be empowered with what I call financial shields of armor, so that you're anchored where you are with your values and the knowledge that has worked for others, so that this way you don't have to walk that path alone or create a new path, because these are the trailblazers that have shifted and changed it for all of us to go through learning and connecting with money with ease, flow, and fun. And without further ado, I'm going to bring my guests into the room. I have Neil Paolik. Did I say it correctly, Neil?
Palache.
Palache. It sounds Italian.
Hey, Palache.
Palache. It's beautiful. And Neil is our expert, especially with, it's really near and dear to my heart. And I can't wait for women to hear why you're helping women who are divorced and widowed, and what an amazing impactor you are. So this is Neil Paolik, the wealth creator, right? The CEO. You're the creator of the wealth creation formula for women, right?
Right.
Okay, perfect. Exactly. All right, and I'm going to bring in my dear friend Micaela Passeri. She is an emotional ninja and our resident money breakthrough specialist. So I am so super excited, and I will let you have an opportunity to share more about yourselves and what's most important for you each to share why you feel so strongly about what you do and what you share with your communities, so that this way they can be empowered, they can tap into your experiences. So maybe life will be a little bit simpler, a little bit easier, a little less challenging, especially around money. So Neil, I'm going to start with you. I would normally do ladies first, but you know what? I'm going to tell you, I do a lot of work with women and money. And anytime a guy is going to be in the room to show up for us ladies, I am going to give him the floor first, because I just think it is so super amazing. Because really, I know what you're doing is always putting us first. And I think that requires a big, kind, and generous heart, and that's what I know about you. And so I couldn't help but have you be here this evening. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So share a little bit more. I touched on it just barely. So share a little bit about what you do, what you're currently doing today.
So as a money coach, I became a money coach, financial coach about 10 years ago, after being a financial advisor for 25 years. And people say, well, what's the difference between a money coach and a financial advisor? And really the difference is that I don't any longer, and haven't for the last 10 years, handled any money. Like, I'm not handling investments. I'm not handling insurances. I'm essentially a consultant. So when I sit with my clients, they have either gone through a divorce, or God forbid they've lost their husband, or maybe they're preparing for a divorce in some cases, and they need to have a different set of tools. Yeah. The tools are just different when you're going through that kind of a life transition. I know you both know what I'm referring to, and most people do. Like, if you haven't actually gone through it, like if you're not someone who's been divorced, or somebody who's actually lost a husband or a wife for that matter, somebody who has. So we've all been around it to some degree. And it can be kind of life-shattering in some cases. But if you have the tools, and if you have the people around you that you need to support you as you go through this transition, you'll be okay. You'll be fine coming out the other end. So mine's all financially. I mean, I'm not involved in the emotional side of it, other than the fact that we all play therapists to a degree, right? When we're in the room with our clients.
Yep.
So mine's all about figuring out the solution. As far as I'm concerned, there is a solution to every problem. I don't know what all the solutions are, but maybe Mama Rita does, or maybe Michaela does, or maybe
you do.
Steve or the little doggy, right?
I'm sorry. She was going to start barking, so I just had to bring her on my lap.
Right.
Now she wants to be.
Right, the solution to personal therapy, right there.
That's the solution to lowering your blood pressure. It's better than medication, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's all about figuring out what it is that needs to happen in order for that woman to be successful and comfortable, and not feel like she's going to end up being a bag lady, which is I know that may not be specifically what's in the back of their heads, but it's kind of like that. Oh my God, can I actually survive? I don't want to end up, being poor and having a problem. And maybe they've experienced that. Maybe a friend went through it, or maybe they grew up poor. Whatever their situation may have been. So that's what it's all about for me.
I love what you're saying, and I'm going to just quickly, before I go to Michaela, to your point. The statistics behind that are 90% of women will have the sole responsibility of taking care of money at some point in their life. And only somewhere between 75 and 79%, depending where you look, are ready for that. Excuse me, are unprepared for that.
I was going to say, I was surprised that it's that high.
It's unprepared for that.
Maybe 20 to 25% are prepared.
There's
right?
75 to 79% are unprepared.
Right.
So then we wonder why we see so many women, like you said, that's why it's to your point, that are struggling and they're suffering and they don't know what to do. And then they need someone like you to help them with those pieces to the puzzle. And like you said, Neil, it takes a village, and you never know what point or what exactly somebody needs until they explore it. And I want them to know that we're here. We're here, I'm going to say, really out of true love and true heart, to make sure that we shift that dynamic. Those numbers actually need to be it would be awesome if we could get to those numbers to be the ones I said originally, where 79% are prepared, right? And I'm going to say, as I'm seeing you shake your heads, wouldn't you agree that that's a goal we're all on the same path for?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. And Michaela, oh my gosh, I love my I'm going to call her my cugina in finances, right? My money cousin, right? Because, so Michaela, when you hear and share, you're going to share about what you do. But when you hear somebody say money and emotions don't go together, right? You're not supposed to have money and emotions. Being the emotional ninja, what do you say to that?
Well, I would say that emotions absolutely have everything to do with your money results and with your money conversations, because it all stems from how you perceive money, how you behave with money, how you call money in or don't call it in. So absolutely, they go hand in hand. And if you are experiencing a lack of money, I can guarantee you there is some sort of a trapped emotion in the subconscious that's hooked into a negative emotional experience of your past, that even if you think you might have resolved it, energetically, the hook is still there. And so, you know, part of the work that I do is to help people identify what those hooks are and unhook them so that they can actually, you know, then get on the right path to making the money that they want and bringing the money in that they want.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So on your journey to getting to this point about, and I'm going to say each one of us, I look at us all as educators, right? We're educators, we're consultants, we're coaches. It's hard to say that we're just any one thing, because really I see us as showing up very holistic, each one of us very holistically, for people to transition or into transformation around their money stories and their money problems and situations or challenges. So Neil, I'm going to start with you again. Why money? Like, why did you become a financial advisor? Why did you transition into, like, what was the story? The point that you just said, you know what? I'm going to answer a call that no one else is answering. Right? We hear about people saying, we've got to have more education around money. And then they all want to wait till they have as many gray hairs as me for someone else to do it. Right. And I'm going to say, thank God you guys are alongside me, because this is definitely not a mission we could do alone. So why money? Why talking about it? Why getting it? What was that point? And especially widowed and divorced women, what made you go?
Well, I was going to say, yeah. I'm glad that you added that, you know, why the divorced and widowed women, because the original way that I got it, I kind of have to tell this story a little bit, because it's kind of, I find it amusing, and I hope so. Maybe you and the audience would also find it amusing. But, you know, I came to America when I was 17 and went to college. And at 21, I was in a bowling alley. I don't know whether you're all familiar with Corbin Bowl in Woodland Hills.
Oh, anyway, yeah. I've been there.
It's a bowling alley. Whatever. Yeah. I mean, it was a place that I used to hang out with a friend. And of course, we were playing Pac-Man and, you know, all the good video games.
That's right.
Let's face it. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do, but now my father was in the insurance adjustment business, and I had that opportunity, and I didn't really want to do that. And I met this girl, and she was a receptionist at Mass Mutual Life, and she said, "Well, why don't you come? You know, I'll get you an interview." And she got me an interview. And this was in the summer of 1983. and that's how I ended up in the life insurance business in 1983. And then, of all things, I failed my life insurance test. The very first test. And obviously, I passed it, you know, right away. But I failed. I was so nervous the first time around. Anyway, so that's how I got into the money business originally, and then 25 years of selling life insurance and financial advising and so forth. When I got to the point where I don't know whether you'd call it burnout. Honestly, I was always kind of a creative guy. I like to do my own thing, my own way. And I couldn't, because as time went on, the compliance requirements got stiffer and stiffer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was close to getting myself into trouble. I wasn't doing anything illegal. Never did anything illegal. But, if you wrote a letter to be published in a magazine and it wasn't pre-approved, you would get fined. I mean, it was a big deal, but they didn't, you can't do that. And it got to the point where I just wanted to do my own thing. So bottom line is, I decided I was going to relinquish all of my licenses and become a consultant. And once I did that, I hired a coach. And I said, well, okay, like, who am I going to be a consultant for? Like, I want to be in the money business. I don't want to become an engineer or something. Like, this is what I do. And she said, I mean, we had a long conversation about it, but she was like, well, how about divorced and widowed women? And I'm like, okay. And I thought about it, and we discussed it. And, my mom had been through a divorce, and I knew people had gone through a divorce, and, life insurance. I delivered a few life insurance checks to widows. Well, you know what? You're right. People need help. And that's like literally, boom, next day, change my branding, start a new website, business cards. And I was in the money coaching business for divorced and widowed women. And that was that. And that's how it began.
That's awesome. That is a funny story. And
Fun.
I think because I've seen your mom with, I'm going to say, in alliance with what you do, showing up the way she does, super amazing. And the heart that you have for her and knowing what she went through. I think, even though you're telling that story on the back end, I know that, you felt that no one should go through what mom went through. And, myself personally had watching girlfriends go through it, and sometimes to the point of, physically being ill. And this is the effects that, not just divorce, because usually in divorce, the mass weapon of destruction is the financial piece that they use as the weapons of mass destruction. So I think it's so important what you're doing. And because I do see where a lot of women are taken advantage, I've actually heard other financial people from other companies target them. And if I'm going to be really real about it, to the detriment. So this way, when you have somebody on your side like yourself that's removed and independent, then you can get better, give better solutions and results. So I appreciate.
And if I might just add one thing, because I don't want to make it sound like everybody I work with or everybody that's out there that's a woman that got divorced is not able to handle money. I mean, that's the furthest thing from the truth. They certainly are able. A lot of it is just education, not getting used to. I mean, the people that I work with, give them 3 to 6 months, they're done. Like, they don't need me anymore. It's not like, they're not able. That's not what it's about. And in addition to which, half of the women I work with are big income earners. People think if you earn a lot of money, then what's the problem? And it's not about, if you earn $500,000 a year and you spend $550, you're still broke.
You're at another level.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not about making money. A lot of the women I work with, man, they're career women. They can run circles around me. They're doing fine, making money, handling money.
Right.
It's a whole different mindset, as we're going to find out from Michaela, right?
Right. I was just going to say, so the transition, Michaela, money flows to me and through me. What's wrong with that mantra?
It doesn't stick.
It does not stick at all.
You make it and then you send it right back out. So then you can't do anything with it.
Yep. Yeah. I love the hacks that you have. And so tell us a little bit about, like, okay, you're in coaching, and so developing specifically around and into the money piece. What was the story for you? I know I'm going to say you had a cool story about your dad and how that affected you, and I'm going to say in a great way. Tough, but great, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when I tell the story, I do tell it from a place of, it was actually it was the biggest defining moment in my life, but it was the moment that actually set me on the path of personal development. And I wouldn't be the woman that I am today had it not been for the experience of losing him. As painful as it was, being able to shift out of grief and into seeing it as a growth opportunity for myself is what also helped me get out of those negative conversations. So for those, for a little bit of background, basically I'm Italian, if you didn't notice.
No.
Surprise.
And I was actually born and raised in Florence. And so after I graduated high school, my parents gave me the choice to come and live with my grandparents here in California, because my mom is American, and go to college. And so I took that opportunity and brought all of my emotional baggage with me on the plane. So once I got here, already the cultural stuff, already in my culture, there is a negative connotation around money and having money. You have to sacrifice yourself. If you have a mindset of gaining money, you're bad. So there was all of that, the Catholic guilt that goes around money. So already I had that. But within that first year that I was here in America in college, my dad passed away in a horrible car accident in Bulgaria. And that was the worst day of my life. It was, my world was shattered. He was the breadwinner. He was the carrier of the family, also just energetic wise, he was the life of the party. He was the young at heart guy, And so it was very traumatic. And so to support myself in getting out of that deep grief, I just vowed to figure myself out. I just wanted to understand how I worked, why I would feel a certain way, why I would make certain decisions. And specifically, I wanted to learn how to not feel that pain anymore. And so that really, that's where the pivotal moment, so it was the pivotal moment because it changed my family dynamic and it changed the way that I looked at family and that I was in community as well. But it also changed my life, and this propelled me in this personal development journey that changed my life for the better. So out of that tragedy came this flower of new life that allowed me to really figure out the connection between my life experience and how I wanted to choose, well, let me back up. My life experience and how I could choose to have the life experience that I wanted through managing my emotions and my mindset. And so that's how I really got deep into the emotional intelligence work. And then obviously after the death of my father, I had a few other, events in my life where I experienced the depth of the negative conversations around self-worth and the connection to money. And so to the point where I actually gave over $100,000 to my ex-boyfriend in the hopes to gain his love. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me. Allergies. So I was so, my cultural conversations coupled with the tragedy of my father's death and feeling not whole as a human because I no longer had my father. I no longer had my family unit, and the interpretation that I gave to that, and it led me to give so much away that to try to feel that love, to get that feel worthy, to where that's what I did. I made the choice to give away the money. So, and he wasn't the only one. I gave it away to friends. I did all sorts of things with my money. So literally it came in and it went out. What you shared, right? Money comes to me and through me. That was me. Wow. And once I came to the realization, I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, what is this about? And dug really deep. It was all a self-worth conversation. And money really is the amount of money that you bring into your space is an absolute reflection on what you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself. And it's connected to self-worth. And self-worth is connected to one of the lowest vibrating energies on the consciousness scale created by a quantum physicist by the name of David Hawkins, which is shame. So if we have, we all have them. We have experiences where we've experienced a deep sense of shame. There is a worth conversation there, and it's an absolutely connected to your money conversation.
And I love that work that you do because, again, connecting here and being Italian, and actually even just seeing, it's not even just about being Italian. One of the things that I've got to experience over the years is with my clients is actually that piece is across all cultures, right? And I really got to see whether somebody was Filipino or Hispanic, they would say the same things.
Right.
And so part of it is like, what did we grow up with as the stories? And most of the stories were developed somewhere between 3 and 8, right?
Yeah. For
the better part. I mean, actually today I heard somebody sharing with me how his 8-year-old daughter, who has been learning about money at very basic levels, got very upset when this other little girl spent all her money on candy, and she knew it was all the money the little girl had. And so he asked her, "Why are you upset? Was it your money?" "No." But if nobody teaches them, this is the little girl, 8 years old, can figure this out. If nobody teaches it to little kids, then they'll never have money ever when they grow up. I mean, out of the mouths of babes. So it's not hard, right? It's simple, but we do need support a lot of the times, just like anything else. And I know we're already on our hour. This goes so fast. So before we close out, I want to make sure to put someplace. So I'm going to start with Neil, where they can reach you, Neil. And if you have any kind of gift or tip that you would like to leave our audience with tonight.
Well, excuse me. So the easiest thing to do, I would say, would be to call me or text me directly, which I'm happy to do. I'm not one of these guys that hides in a closet. So 818-606-7327, 818-606-7327. My gift to you is an hour consultation. I'm happy to do some money coaching with you. And for everybody that does an hour consultation, we'll throw your name in a hat, and then we'll do a raffle for a $50 gift card.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much. Awesome. More money. I love it. All right. And Michaela.
It's just like me to win money.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things, right? Yes. We're going to put a little stretch out there for you. Everywhere you go, just start saying, "Wow, it's just like me to win money." And enter raffles so you can see it. You'd be surprised what that fun practice has and how it can shift you. All right. So Michaela, I have up here where they can call and book time with you, and you have some free activities and tips. So what can you leave us with?
Yeah, so they can go to callwithmp.com and book a 15-minute connection call with me to ask any questions. If you're curious about emotional intelligence or curious about how emotions connect to money, absolutely be happy to geek out on that with you. And when you do that, you can also get my emotional resilience ninja activities, which is the top 3 exercises to keep you grounded and focused. And both Rita and I this week are having our one-day events, so you can spend time with me on Thursday at the April 29th for the Money Breakthrough, and then with Rita on Saturday, where I'm going to be speaking there as well for the Money Mastery Summit. So there's a lot to be done this week on and
Neil is going to be there with us too. So
yes, indeed.
You can already see the insights and the tips, and I'm so super excited. You could go to Eventbrite. It's called Money Mastery May Day. So you got just a little snippet. You're going to get a little bit more. So come join us. And thank you, Neil. Thank you, Michaela. And thank you, everyone, for being here and tuning in to how we can shift and create our money mastery with fun, flow, and ease. Thank you again. Thank you, the two of you.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you.
We'll see you soon. Good night.
Okay. Bye.